to a seated position, anything that's good for you. I like to sit on a block. And again, my name is Fran Conway. I'm a registered nurse and a yoga therapist at Cornell Medical Center at New York Hospital. And I thank you all for being with me this evening as we work through these yoga poses during these times. So come to close your eyes. Sit well, ground down through the sitting bones and the feet if you're sitting in a chair, and let the spine rise up, expressing the natural curves of the spine. And then come to close your eyes. And I'm just going to read a beautiful quote that has really been very grounding for me. The habit of beginning your practice in an intentional way will permeate the rest of your life. Whenever I sit down at a yoga class, I silently say, "Thank you for bringing me here." This has become a habit. Now, whenever I'm at the start of something, I pause for a moment to say either, "Thy will, not mine, be done," or "Thank you for bringing me here." There is a pause in my beginnings during which I align with the divine. And each time I am reminded of the thousands of other times I have paused before, of the now countless moments of deep connection, of their beauty, and of my place in the universe. And that is written by this wonderful yoga teacher, Master Ralph Dace, and the name of this book is Meditations from the Mat. Okay, so we're going to break down the sun salutations today. Okay, so a lot of times most of the time, if it's not a beginner's class, usually the typical class goes through 4 or 5 or 6 sun salutations, and they're done very, very quickly. So we're going to break them down and make them, and I want you to know that all of these poses are accessible to you, and I'll give you alternate ways to do them if it doesn't feel right. Some of them require a little bit more strength. That requires some years of practice, or at least a few months of practice. So we'll break it down. So the first thing we're all going to do is come to stand. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is just warm up a little bit. So just swing the arms from side to side. And then you can bend the knees and swing the arms out, making it into a flowing gesture. And then bring the arms over. And then the arms up overhead. You can make circles with it. You can make this however you want to do it. So whatever feels right for you. So you can see I'm making a half a circle one way and then the other way. And just go around. Now you can bring both arms out. Bring both hands to your shoulders and just rotate the shoulders backward. I don't like to rotate the shoulders forward because we do enough of that in our daily lives. And then bring the arms out, palms up, reach up, take a hold of the right wrist and just give a little twist over to the left. Come up, switch the hand placement, a little twist. I'm sorry, not a twist, just a stretch over to the right. And then come on down. And now this is sort of a fun thing to do. So you're just going to move. You're going to move just like we started before. And the head has a tendency to follow wherever the arms go. So let's just do some brain exercises and move your head the opposite way of the arms. And it's a very interesting exercise. It's also really good for the brain, which is a muscle, an organ, of course, but it's the muscles in there. So we want to get that working and moving. So it's great for the neck, and it's just great for building up some heat and range of motion and warming up. Okay, and then just come back down, slow it down a little bit. Shake out the hands, shake out the hips, shake it out. Shake it off, right? Okay, so come to the front of your mat, and I'm just going to stand a little bit back here. So one of the first things in a sun salutation is mountain pose. So you want to come into a really good mountain pose, and that's the foundational pose, the foundational element of all the rest of your practice. So you want to ground down under the ball of the big toe, the ball of the little toe, and in the middle of the heel. There's an imaginary triangle under there, and you want to ground down into the earth with the feet about hip distance apart. And then from there, just slightly lift your kneecap. So it's not this huge aggressive lift. It's just a slight lift there. And then feel your pubic bone going up, the energy in the pubic bone going up as the energy in the tailbone comes down. So the energy in the front is coming up and the energy in the back is going down. Lift the sides of the ribs up, really elongate through the sides, and imagine that there's like a little pillow or a cloud underneath your armpits, just to lift up here a little bit. And then take the arms out with the palms facing forward. Relax your neck, and the crown of the head reaches up to the heavens. So this is your mountain pose. It's a wonderful thing to do this with the arms open because it externally rotates your shoulders, and we're opening up our lungs, which is one of the primary reasons why we are doing yoga. It's always a good reason to do yoga, but especially now. So mountain pose. So from here, I'm just going to build on it a little bit, and we're just going to bring the arms up overhead a little bit, bend your knees, and then exhale, bring the hands down, crossing them in front of the torso. Bend the knees, come on up again as you straighten, exhale, bend, and come on down. So make this into a flow. Just go back and forth, and you'll start to feel it in your calves. Use your breath, inhaling up and exhaling down. Good, now we're going to bring it down a little bit more. Inhale up and exhale, come down a little bit further, bending the knees a little bit more, and then come up again and come down, bending more, just keep going, bringing your hips down to the level of the knees. The back is straight as it can be. I don't like to round the back, so you really want to think about bringing your shoulder blades closer together. So just retracting the shoulder blades together. One more time up like this, and now exhale if you have blocks. And I did have another one here. Okay, so if you have blocks, you're going to, I'm going to just change the angle here. Okay, so you're going to bring your hands to the blocks. Okay, and then just stay here for a few breaths. So notice now you're coming forward from the hip crease, not from rounding the back. It's the hip crease. And then bring your hands to the blocks and just let the head be parallel to the floor. The head and neck and torso are parallel to the floor. So this is a forward bend. It's a modified forward bend because we have our knees bent. Inhale, come into what they call a flat back. So flat back, your hands are on your shins, and from your tailbone out through the crown of your head, you're creating a long line of energy, and you're leading with your heart. So again, you want to open up the shoulders, open up the chest, and broaden across here. Inhale, exhale, bring your hands down to the floor or to the blocks, whatever you have. This is the forward bend. Inhale, this is the half bend. And I'm just looking up to make sure that my body is on the screen. So the neck is in neutral alignment. And then one more time, forward bend, bring your hands to the blocks. Now bring your knees to the floor. And then bring your hands to the floor. And you come into a tabletop position. So you look like this. I'm going to turn this way so you can see me a little bit better. So from here, your hands are underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. And you're going to do just a few cat-cows. So you're going to arch the back as you look up and then just slightly round the lower back, especially. Try not to over round the upper back. And then just go back and forth. especially if you have osteoporosis. You want to be really careful of rounding the back, especially the thoracic spine. So just go back and forth like that a little bit. And this is your go-to pose. If you don't like downward facing dog, and if it's not good for you, this is a really great pose to go to, or child's pose, where you bring your hips to your heels and you slide your arms out and bring the forehead to the floor. Okay, so now we're going to peel up again. And now from here, we're going to think about going into downward dog. So you're going to stretch one leg back. My toes are on the floor, right toes on the floor. And now I'm going to stretch the other leg back. And from here, it's not really downward dog. So now I'm going to inhale as I hike my hips up into the sky. Bend your knees. Keep your knees bent. I don't really care if you have straight legs or not. Doesn't matter to me that much right now. It doesn't matter at all. You have to protect your back. What's important is that your back is long. And then let your head and neck be neutral. Try not to lift the head up or let it go down too much. Just neutral. So your ears are sort of in between your arms. And then you can engage your belly here. And now just pedal out the legs. Pedal out one leg so you really bend one knee and straighten the other. And go back and forth. Nice and slow. This is very, very good for the calves. And then that helps to eliminate any edema in the legs, bringing that fluid back into the circulatory system. And then after you finish pedaling out, come back to your bent knee downward facing dog and see if you can just rotate your biceps to be up more towards the sky. They're not going to face it, but just there's a slight rotation where the biceps are up and the triceps are more looking down. And then hold it here. This is really challenging. And now from here, we're going to inhale as we come into, I have to modify because I've got a couch right in front of me, into plank. Now this is no joke. So I'm going to come out of this now and we're going to talk about plank pose for a second. And if you want to come out with me, I'm sure you do, just relax your arms. That fills up a lot of tension and you use up a lot of energy in your arms by doing that. And I'm just going to bring that down a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to talk about going into plank. It's a great overall strengthening pose, and I think that if there's only one pose in the world, although I say that about a lot of things, it's a great pose because it strengthens everything, your quadriceps, your entire back body, your front body. It's great for the abdominals. So let's just say you are in tabletop. Let's not just say it, you are in it, okay? Now to play with going into plank, you're going to be in this tabletop where the arms, the hands are underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Straighten your right leg back. So this is half plank. You're in a half plank. And if this is what you got today, then this is what you're going to work with. And from here, you engage your abdominals. So let's just do the right leg first. Half right plank. Think about lengthening out from the tailbone out to the heel, and then from the tailbone out to the crown of the head. Engage your abdomen. And you're looking down maybe about a few inches in front of your fingers. Inhale and exhale, bring that knee down. Now inhale and bring the left leg back, left toes are on the floor, and you're pulling in your lower abs, and you're looking down about just a few inches, so you're not doing this and you're not doing that. Neutral. Balance. And engage the quadriceps, your thigh muscles as you do this. You can really do this and not engage anything. So engage and breathe. And now inhale and come back down. Take a rest, just come up onto your knees if that's available to you, or bring your heels to your bottom to your heels, or come to your knees, and just rub out the hands a little bit, because that does put a lot of pressure on your hands and on your wrists. So now we're going to attempt to do the plank pose. So to start, hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Okay? Stretch the right leg back. Hold that leg, stay there. Pull the belly in, inhale, and exhale now, take the left leg back. Make sure the hips aren't up. That's on your way to downward dog. And make sure the hips aren't sagging, and that look at where my shoulders just sag down. So the shoulders are steady and strong, and my shoulder blades are moving apart now. They're protracted. So we're getting the serratus muscle under the shoulder blades involved. You're engaging your abdominals, and this is really powerful, wonderful pose. So inhale, exhale, bring the knees down, and then just come back to sit on your heels again. And pause. Give yourself a little bit of a rub, and then we'll go into the next pose. The next pose that's linked from the plank pose. Okay, so from the plank pose, so there are poses, and then there are transitional poses. And the transitional poses are just as important as the poses, and you want to do them properly, and you want to do them according to your body and what your body's needs are today. So don't do anything just because I'm doing it or another yoga teacher on YouTube is doing it. Listen to your body. You're the expert in your body, not me and not anybody else. So I've got one leg back and I've got the other. So say we're in plank now. We're in that part of the sun salutation, and then from plank we're going to bring the knees down to the floor. So you can see they're not perpendicular to the floor, they're on a diagonal. And then I'm just going to move back a little bit because I'm going to end up in the sofa. So now I'm going to lower down my thighs, but keep the integrity of your arms. Don't let it slump. Lower down your thighs. This is great. Don't dump it all into your lower back. Lower down your belly. Lower down your ribs, your chest, and then bring the forehead to the floor. And pause here for a breath or two. And now your hand should be right alongside the chest. Bring the feet together and press the pubic bone into the floor. Bring the shoulders away from the floor and shoulder blades down. And then lift your chin and your nose just a few inches off the floor. And now hover your hands above the floor, just like a millimeter off the floor. And this will use your lats and your traps more than your biceps. So this is a great pose to strengthen the back, especially now that we're all on phones and computers more than ever. So this is a wonderful counter pose to all of that bending that we do in our normal life. Inhale, exhale, bring the hands down, make a pillow for your head by making two fists on top of it and just rest there. Or you can just place your hands on top of the other. And that builds up a lot of energy too. And then this is just an added thing because many of us are newcomers here, so just to release any residual tension, just windshield wiper the legs back and forth, and then come back down to rest. Catch your breath. Notice how you breathe in. And if you're struggling to breathe, then slow down. That's always a really good way, an indicator to check if you're working too hard. Okay, now hands are just alongside the chest. Inhale and come back to your tabletop. And since we're doing a lot of gentle stuff, just come back into a child's pose again. Hips on your heels and reach the arms out and the head comes down, or you can bring it to a stuffed animal, a pillow, like that. And if your hips don't touch the heels, put a pillow there or a stuffed animal. That's really a great tool to use. Thank you, Vanessa, for that. And do a little wiggle. That's always really nice thing to do. And then come on up again. And now I'm going to stay like this because I think you can see me better. And now from here, you're either going, in a normal sun salutation, you would come back to downward facing dog. And let's do the knees bent version. But if you're not doing dog, you would just be here in this tabletop. You would peel the body up, and then you would bring one foot forward, curl the back toes, and lift the back knee and bring that foot up and come up. If you're in downward dog, you would be walking. You would walk 1 foot up, 1 foot, and you'd come down low. You'd stay low with the knees bent. You bring the arms to the side like an airplane. Exhale really deeply, contain your belly, and then rise up through the strength of your thoracics. And then your legs will kick in, and then bring the hands down by your side. And that is really quite a beautiful feeling of your prana flowing through your body. So we're going to do that again, and just to help reinforce all the particulars, the actual poses themselves, and then these transitory poses. So come to mountain. Feel yourself grounded. Think of a mountain that you know and love, that you've seen in your travels or pictures, and pull that energy into your body. Where are my feet? I like to take an inventory. Where are my feet? Where are my legs? Where's my pelvis? How's my spine? Is it lifting up? What can I do? How can I have effort without tension and relaxation without dullness? So this is kind of dull, and this is like way too tense. So where's the Goldilocks version? Okay, the palms are out. Inhale, lift the arms up. The neck is soft. The outer shoulder blades are going up, and then the inner shoulders are relaxed. Inhale from here. Take a nice deep breath. And then exhale, palms out, arms out, bend the knees, pull the belly in as you come down. Okay, forward bend. And then we'll come into that flat back. So the back is straight and the knees are slight. So you never want to lock the knees. You always want to have a slight bend in the knees. So this is the flat back, and my hands are pressed into my shins, and I'm thinking about leading with my heart, which is a really beautiful way to go through life. Inhale, exhale, fold forward again into the forward bend. Bring your hands to the floor or to your blocks, and then bring one leg back. Bring the knee to the floor, bring the other leg back, bring the knee to the floor. Now this is not really included in the normal sun salutation, but we can make it whatever we want. So let's do that cat-cow exercise again before we go into downward dog, just to give yourself some time to get used to what we're doing here. So curl both toes under. Actually take 1/2 of an inch step forward with your hand. That'll give you a little bit more room. And let's open up the hands just a little bit. That's going to give your shoulders a little bit more room to work with. The toes are curled under. Inhale, lift the knees, bring the hips back, and bend the knees deeply. So that when you bend the knees deeply, the hips can really go back even further. So the hips are not here. They're hiked up into the air, creating that V pose, that V shape. But we're going to keep the knees bent so you can still see how flat the back is. Pedal out the legs again and really get into the calf muscle. The soleus and the gastroc muscles really get a beautiful stretch in this pose. And then come to hold it. The chest comes towards the thighs and your head and neck is really soft. And again, the outer shoulders are going up, the shoulder blade, and then the inner shoulders are very soft and relaxed. Okay, from here, I'm just moving my feet back because I don't have enough room. So to slide into plank, that's a pose, that's a transitional pose. So from that,
I'm keeping my hands and my feet where they are, and I'm coming onto the balls of the feet as I slide my torso forward. So my shoulders are now on top of my wrists. My legs are working like crazy. You can see I lowered my hips a little bit. My shoulders are protracting. My shoulder blades are opening up. And my legs are working really hard, and I'm really engaging my abdomen. Now, if this doesn't work for you, you bring one leg down, one knee down. This is a great pose, and again, you get the same benefits, and you work your way up. Strength comes in increments. It's not an event. It's a process. And then bring the other knee down, and then bring the opposite leg back, and get long. Really long torso, long neck, long torso. Fix your gaze, and that helps you to feel from being distracted. And breathe. So now, if you were in a plank pose, from here, you would start to lower. I would have you come to lower the knees, and then the thighs. And if you're in plank pose, if you're in tabletop, you can do the same thing. So from here, just take a step back or a step forward with your hands, and that gives you the room to bring your thighs and your pelvis, your chest, and then your head to the floor. And then pause there. Bring your hands alongside the chest. So that movement, I'm just going to go over that. That movement was a transition pose. And there's quite a few ways to go from here down to the floor and to go from here down to the floor. But they're really very challenging. So, and they require a lot of strength, as does this. This requires a lot of strength, so you have to play with it. So I just took my hands up just an inch, and now I'm coming down just to go over this particular one. And I'm holding in my belly. So I got the thighs, the pelvis, abdomen, chest, and my elbows are going back. They're not flared out like that. They're going back. And then I bring my forehead to the floor. And then make a pillow for your head. Just give yourself a rest. Shake the body from side to side. Shake the legs, windshield wiper the legs. And then we'll get ready for the next pose. For the next pose that usually goes in the beginning of a sun salutation. The hands are alongside the chest. Your forehead is to the floor. The feet are touching. The pubic bone is pressing into the floor. And now lift your shoulders away from the floor before you do anything. Shoulders away, shoulder blades down the back. And now lift your head, your chin, and your nose. And then the chest, of course. And then just let the hands hover. And think about your back muscles strengthening here and creating the opposite effect of all that rounding that we're doing. So we're strengthening here as opposed to them getting wide and way too weak. Inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down. Pause for a second, then press into your hands and come back up to your tabletop. And this might be the way to come up, so I'm just going to demonstrate both. You'll peel your torso up. This is a great way to come up from the floor anyway. It's a very safe way to come up from the floor. And if you need furniture to help you do that, you use it. So you can challenge your balance and keep your hands on your waist, or you can use your furniture. So notice I took one leg up, and you ask your body, what leg should I bring up first? Your body intuitively knows. You have that intelligence. Curl your back toes under. I'm just going to turn here. My back toes are under. I've got both hands on the front knee, and then you lift the back knee, and with a flat back, bring that back foot up to meet the front. So notice I'm not rounding to get that up. And then if you were to come up by downward facing dog, so you can play with both of them. So let's say we were in downward facing dog, and then the teacher says, okay, from here, walk the feet up towards the hands. You would just, again, take one foot forward Take the other foot forward and be mindful of if you're rounding your back. So you want to have that back flat, and then you come down into this forward bend. You bring the arms out to the side, exhale deeply, and engage the lower abs. Really keep the abs very engaged, exhaling, and now rise up through the strength of your thoracic, and then your quads and back of your thighs will pick up. And then bring your hands down into prayer for your heart, and pause. And having a sense of gratitude for our bodies, that we have these bodies, that we're so blessed to have, and that we can do yoga to help us get in tune with our body, mind, and spirit. Okay, so let's come back down, and you're going to come to lie down. We'll do a shavasana, a relaxation pose. So the entire body is on your back body's on the floor. You want to support your head if you need to. You can support underneath your knees, put a blanket over you, get your stuffed animal. I have one. This is my bunny, and I put him behind my neck when I sit down, when I lean my head back. So I got to try to keep my shoulders back. So we'll put him in the video. I don't know if you can see him. Here he is. Okay, so come to lie down, feeling supported by the earth, and letting your body really take in and enjoy the fruits of its yoga practice. You did some really good work. This is no joke. Sun salutations really require a lot of mindfulness and strength and flexibility. And again, we work towards those things. They don't just come like that. I would be embarrassed to tell you about my first yoga class. That's another thing. So come to close your eyes. Let your front body melt into the back. Let your back body melt into the earth. And enjoy the peace that you not only deserve, but that is your birthright. And enjoy the next few minutes in silence. Let the next exhale be very, very deep. And your next inhale, really long. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Shift your body any way you need to. Ask your body, what does it need to do? And then come to lie on whatever side of your body is right for you. Just lie on your side in that nurturing fetal position. And while you're in that position, ask yourself one thing that you love about yourself. And then use your hands to help distribute your body weight to come back up to a seated position. And we're just going to finish out with a beautiful meditation. And a few of you know this meditation. And it's written by a wonderful man. His name is Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Vietnamese Buddhist monk. And he is just an extraordinary human being. He has many books, and I recommend Pieces Every Step. It's really an extraordinarily, deceptively simple book on how to live. And boy, oh boy, can we use that now. So bring your hands with, it's called a mudra, meaning a hand placement. A mudra of calm abiding. And I like to bring the hands just a little bit back because then my shoulder blades will stay together a little bit more as opposed to this. So I just it helps me to keep the integrity of my shoulder girdle. And then close your eyes, or you can keep your eyes gently open, whatever's best for you. And it's a beautiful mantra. So it says, breathing in, I calm my body, and breathing out, I smile. And you just keep repeating that over and over, saying the first line with your in-breath and the second line with your out-breath. And it's not a big wide smile, it's just a very gentle Mona Lisa, just slightly curved up on the outer aspects of the face. So breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I'll just say a few words and then we'll do that in silence for a few minutes. There's no right or wrong way to meditate. It's your birthright. All that matters is that you show up. Actually, there's two things that truly, like a really big deal. That you show up, even if it's just for 2 minutes. And the second thing is that you keep coming back to your mantra. That's really it. And even if you don't come back to your mantra, just showing up. Just show up. That's the most important. So the mind will do anything to take you out of the present moment, and it will pull us into anxiety now more than ever. It will bring us into the past, which is regret. Anxiety and worry is the future. This meditation practice and all of the yoga practices are designed to bring us to the state where we can meditate, where our mind is not so agitated. It's a wonderful point. Okay, so 2 minutes now on our own. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. And you just say it 10 minutes.
Now let's go with the mantra. Just repeat that. Bring your hands in prayer. Come. Know where you are in space and time. Feel your body in the room, on the floor, in your chair. And we'll end with the following response. I'll say a line and then you say a line. May we have a peaceful mind, an easeful body, and a useful life. Namaste. And thank you so much for practicing with me today as we did a beginner's breakdown of the sun salutations and really teased out some of the elements of those of that flowing motion. And then tomorrow we'll link it together and it'll be a very slow flow. So don't worry, it's all very beginner oriented. We will start working on making it into a flow. It's very slow. Namaste. We're in this together. Thank you.